Okay, done there. Right, now we can go here. Well, we're just gonna go there. How do I get down there? I don't know. Oh. Here. I swear I jumped and she was still like, no thank you.
Welcome to Shadowstula. I maintain the school's collection of manuscripts and books.
I have something you might be interested in. It's unusual.
Maybe, but I've seen it all. I don't think anything could surprise me anymore. Let me take a look.
Here.
Oh, my. Do you know what this is? It's an original edition of The Art of Love and Swordplay of the Nord poet Fyrankin.
The Art of Love and Swordplay. Is that a euphemism? What's it about?
It details in epic balladry the carnal exploits and adventurous deeds of the warrior poet Fyrankin. The author claims the work is a true history, but many of the exploits it recounts are, well, highly unlikely.
So who is Fyrankin?
Fyrankin was a bard of exceptional imagination but decidedly limited skill. According to his epic stanzas, he never met a creature he couldn't make love to or kill. Or both.
Is it worth anything?
No, it's lurid trash and common as guar. But I admit I've had a weakness for Fyrankin since my youth. What do you want for it?
I was hoping to trade it for a book on Dunmer culture and etiquette. Do you have a book of Dunmer insults, taboos, and social blunders?
It's an axiom that there's no such thing as a Dunmeri joke book. But this is close. The Dunmer Dunce. Take it, please.
Thank you. Right. Hey guys, bye guys. Ooh.
Another chance at perfection.
Alright, back to the city we go.
Damn these crowds! We're going to lose our entire shipment.
Oh, I missed a book. Rigard's Journal. We should reach Mournhold tomorrow. I have heard many tales, but I've never seen the place myself. I'm very excited, and the men are looking forward to getting off the boat. One of my men thought the heart of the wild was a piece of reserved meat and nearly took a bite. Can't imagine it would have made a very good gift with the chunk missing, but now I wonder what it tastes like. We arrived! Great success! We were met at the docks by many important little dark elves and taken to a camp they set up just for us. We are so important! They even placed guards to protect us. I love the city already. I can't wait to start our glorious cultural exchange. We tried to go to a local inn for breakfast, but the guards told us we can't leave our camp. I yelled for many hours. Tiny idiot registrar came later and told us we can't leave until our paperwork is sorted out. I may have gotten a little angry. What paperwork? I asked as he ran away from me. No word from the little idiot dark elf. We take turns reading from Board Fyrankin's amazing book, but we are so bored, and our glorious cultural exchange remains unfulfilled. Much sadness today, except for Fyrankin's readings.
Welcome back, Deputy Envoy. Did you have luck making our cultural exchanges? We're still waiting to hear from the damn registrar.
I made all the exchanges.
My eyes are round with wonderment. Look what you have brought us. We accept these fantastic gifts. We now show our respect for the excellent Dunmer culture. Wait a moment while we change into this stylish Dunmer garb. All right, lads. Time to don our fancy new elf clothes.
They're so colorful.
Envoy Rigott, I regret to inform you that you'll need to wait a few more days.
Trolls take you, Registrar. Go home now.
No, wait. You can't leave. It's highly irregular. Think of the paperwork.
Hi, dudes. They're so colorful. And they just disappear. Alright. Okay, well, we're not done here. We know that. I got a dungeon here, so I'm gonna go that way. Okay, where am I supposed to go? Alright, all the way up here. And up this way. There is a Mundus stone right here. Don't particularly care about that at the moment. Oh, now it shows that the dungeon is completed. Shakes fist. And there's a Mundus stone here. Alright, which direction do I want to go? I think I'm gonna go here.
Good find.
Confound it.
Looking at the map, I am directionally challenged, so I have to keep looking to make sure I am heading in the correct direction. It shows a book over here that I must have missed, so I'll grab that while we're over that way too. Hey, little clan affair.
ought to wash your hands. Someday you'll make something surprising with that. Perhaps a tactical approach. To Apocrypha with you.
Magic from
Novel erudition always makes me heady.
Magic from the sky. The ancient Iliads believed that Nirn was composed of 4 elements: earth, water, air, and light. And of these 4 elements, they believed the most sublime form of light was starlight. The stars are links to the plane of Aetherius, the source of all magical power, and therefore light from the stars is the most potent and exalted of all magical powers. From time to time, fragments of Aetherius fall from the heavens. The people know these fragments as shooting stars, and from time to time, such ethereal fragments are found on Nirn. The most common varieties are known as meteoric iron. This metal is prized by armorers and enchanters for its okay. You know what? We're just gonna stop. Very boring read. Okay. Done.
Your fate is sealed! We have an accord. To need a moment. I'm not a young man.
There we go.
More as many pencils.
We discovered how this wretched hole in the ground got its damn name, the Corpse Garden mission. Not only is the Corpse Garden a place where the dead have been buried, but like the garden of any palace or country manor, the Corpse Garden grows undead creatures that spread like weeds. The place is crawling with animated skeletons of all kinds. Some employ blades and charge in to attack with cutting blows. Others use bows with as much accuracy as the best archers in House Redoran. A few deal in magic, and those might be the deadliest of the lot. And there is the leader of this necropolis. Seems that the legendary General Seldian has returned from the dead to lead this army of skeletal soldiers. Why they have returned is anyone's guess, but they form a devastating force. Already we've lost more than half our contingent. I'm beginning to think that the cost of this expedition has gotten too high. Maybe it's time for a strategic retreat. All I need to do is get past that sword-armed skeleton without falling to its deadly attacks. Yes, that's all I need to do. And he's dead. And he's dead.
Any more? I need some tea.
I would love some tea now that you mention it.
Feeling hostility.
Alright, where am I going? If I go here... I'm done? No. chest over there? No. Alright, we'll continue this way.
If we must.
Oh no. Dan, we're out of inventory.
Arrival. Anticipation. Alright, it looks like we're picking up with our main story quest. We're gonna go see Tharn.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
We can use this.
Yeah. Oh. Damn it. I ran away.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
see what we can learn here.
It must be a relief not to have Titanborn following you around like a lost puppy.
A fair warning. Greeting, travelers. I post this warning and hope that you will heed it. This ruin is overrun with a number of dangerous Daedra and their followers. Do not venture forth unless you are adequately armed and prepared. However, if you do choose to venture into this cave, keep your eyes open for anything of value. I will reward you for recovering any artifacts that I could not. Find me at the Daedric ruins near Narcissus. Noted.
Hostilities ended. Now to relax.
Asarid's race. There at the end of the hall, is that a sapphire? Asked Lodasar, eyes shining. I've never seen one so big. How much you think we can sell it for? Sell it? Huh. First, that's not a sapphire, and second, we're not selling it. Pamela remarked, it belonged with me in my experiments. You can't even imagine what I can do with that thing in a little time. The Nord crowd. What? There's no way I'm letting you keep that to tinker with. Look at it. It's as big as my head. We'll live like kings. It's worth more in the revelations that I'll witness than you can imagine, you mead for brains. Asarid observed the dispute, leaning against the cool stone of the ancient wall as his companion's argument intensified. His gaze flicked down the hallway and his face lit up with a hungry grin as he noticed something interesting. Buffing his claws on his leather armor, he waited for the right moment. Khajiit thinks, he said during a seething pause, that whoever is best to decide is the best adventurer, and that is the one who picks it up first. He took off and sprinted past the Nord and Altmer. Dumbfounded, his companions blinked in surprise for only a moment, and then charged forward to catch up, each eager to claim the prize. In their fervor, neither noticed how Asarid gradually slowed his pace. Magic flew as Pamwe cast spells to increase her speed, and Lodasar bellowed and surged forward through the dim hall towards the glow of the gem, axe held high. As they overtook Asarid, they taunted him, but his grin didn't falter as the hallway revealed its true nature to the two frontrunners. Suddenly, concealed blades swung from the walls, slicing in deadly arcs across the hall. A blade sped towards Lodasar and crashed against his armor, pushing him aside. Unharmed, he laughed as Asarid, keeping pace, nimbly dodged the deadly trap. Palme was not so fortunate or skilled. Her ward shattered under her blows. Frantic, she tried to stop short of a blade in front of her, but her foot became entangled in a roam, and she fell headfirst into its path. Asarid did not stop to look back, but jogged behind Lodasar, who continued shouting. The enormous gem was close now, almost within reach. Assured of his victory, he turned to loose a final insult when the stones beneath his feet crumbled. He tumbled downward, clanging and failing in his steel armor as it pulled him into a deep pool. Muffled screams sounded from the water as whatever lurked inside stirred. In a quick leap, the triumphant Khajiit stood before the gem, illuminated by its light. Snatching it up, he turned to look back down the trapped hallways. Seems Asarid is the best adventurer today, dear friends, he intoned, unaware of the bladed device unfolding from the pedestal behind him.
So we gotta walk the entire... Up we go.
Done. What's next? You will not break me, King of Worms.
I can and I shall. Where is the Amulet of Kings?
You cannot break the will of a son of Yakuda. I spit on you.
So, Sahan is alive and he has not been broken. An important piece of the puzzle to be sure, but where is he being kept?
The Duchess of Anguish. It became necessary to relocate Sahan when it became clear that standard interrogation techniques would not work. His will was very strong, no doubt forged during the years he spent training in solitude, attempting to restore the ancient Yukudan art of sword singing. Despite his utter failure to manifest the spirit swords, a task that came as naturally as breathing to the ancient masters, Sahan maintains an unusual strong sense of self. When it is determined that he could resist or outright ignore physical pain, I had him relocated from the dungeons beneath the Imperial City to a location that might be better suited to break his will and extract the information I seek. My contacts among Molag Bal's Daedric servants were receptive to the suggestion. After all, it had been years since any of them had the challenge of breaking a subject with such a strong will. The lovely Duchess of Anguish has a touch that is like razors against the flesh. Her voice sears the mind and soul, her lips are coated in venom, and her intellect is as sharp as her tongue. She has practiced her art for uncounted centuries. I am confident she will extract the information from the Redguard without killing him. I suppose the Redguard will need to be disposed of when this is over. Once the information is mine, perhaps I'll give him to the Duchess as a gift. She will almost certainly kill him, I think, but first she will enjoy him as a plaything for many long years. Subordinate Dramora, hear and obey the will of Drosha. We are strong, we despise the weak and hate the frail, and we abhor the mortals most of all because they are both weak and frail. The weak must be punished by the strong. It is our calling, and it is the order of our Lord and Master Molag Bal. Find mortals, capture but do not kill them. They must be alive when we sacrifice their wretched souls to Molag Bal. Do not fail me, or you shall suffer in place of the mortals. Do this because I command it. The hunger of sip. Look, my child, at the beetle I hold in my palm. It scuttles and tickles and looks busily for food. Would you like to hold it, child? I swear by Tava's red feathers that it shall not be hurtful to you. It is quite harmless, this beetle, at this size, for it will grow, yes, even as you will grow, so will this beetle. As you grow and grow until you reach a woman's height, so will this beetle grow and grow. And in the fullness of time you will cease to grow, but the beetle will grow on. As it was not ever thus, in far-off Yukuda, in times of yore when all walked in step with the gods, these beetles were the friends of our houses and the amusing companions of our children. They were named Samara scarabs, as they grew, yes, but only to the size of an ample millet loaf, for it was not needful for them to grow larger, for they were not favored of the children. Did they not scamper and race and sing the clickety song? And were they not well fed, therefore, on seeds and savory dung pellets? It was so, and the lives of the people were good, for though the land was harsh, the people followed the will of the gods, and thus were vouchsafed enough to live well and a little more. And the divines were revered as it was written as they should be, and all things were in their proper places. But some there were among the people who decided that a little more than what they needed was not as much as they did want, and in their avarice they fell away from the proper reverence and were taken. Yeah, body and soul, with the hunger of Sep. And this was an ill thing, for the hunger of Sep can never be sated. Then evil came to Yukuda, and red war and forbidden rites were practiced, and fell things were summoned that should never have been called forth. Oh, jeez. I was busy, guys. And, okay. It was time of endings. Sadakal arose from the starry depths, and Yukido was pulled down beneath the waves. But after each end time comes a new time, and it was even so in this case. For some of the people were permitted to sojourn to Tamriel, where we took Hammerfell for our own. There we were given a chance to once again worship the gods in proper reverence, and we brought our Samara scarabs with us, that we might delight the children and remember happier days. And the hunger of Sep was left behind, for a time, my child, for a time. But it is deep in our mortal core, and may ever rise again. So the gods gave unto us a warning, even until the smallest children. For in this new time, in this new place, our little companions grew to the size of ample millet loaves, as was met. However, they then continued to grow and burgen, and sprout hurtful claws and rending mandibles. And then with tears we drove them from our homes and into the wastes, where they flourished and became baneful. Yes, my child, the assassin beetles that plague the empty places are our own Samara scarabs, smitten by the gods because with the hunger of Sep, they are a lesson to us and awful warning to those who would become too avid. Be happy then, and forgo all averance, for out here we have enough to live well and a little more.
Anything interesting?
The waters of oblivion, 120 numbered ages in the void that fated folk had grown deep-schooled in evil, and the bright gods resolved to punish those faithless spirits and shadow the unruly catifs, those huge unholy scathers, loathsome to the light. They repented exceedingly that they had gazed upon oblivion, and seen there the first of dark kin, and welcomed them as brothers and sisters. The principalities of victory beheld how great was the wickedness of wayward spirits, and saw that they were bold in sin and full of wiles. They resolved them to chasten the tribes of Daedra, and smite dark kind with hammer and hand. But ever shall dark... But ever shall darkness contest the light, and great were the powers that breathed the void, and laid waste upon one another, and no oath might bind them, so deep were they in envy and perfidy. For once the portals are open, who shall shut them upon the rising tide? Second. The heat, the heart of love, known pendant that Mara is always with you. Within your breast beats her love and affection. The symbol of her floral star adorns the walls at a wedding chapel. Her priests tend to the needs of husband and wife, and always is her gaze upon the young. To complete your venerations here in tone, fivefold blessings upon the lost and lovelorn. The heart pumps the blood that connects us across the Arbis. May her grace always be upon me. Correct ways of slaying Natu? We'll come back to that. That's 12 pages, that.
Chimnel Adabar, the amulet of the kings of glory, an artifact of the divines, a badge of office for the ruling emperors of Cyrodiil, and the key to my ascendancy. Yet it eludes me. Exploiting its power to bring about the calamity of our age was intoxicating. It made me aware of the limitless possibilities available to one strong enough and fearless enough to use it to achieve his own ends. The amulet has the power to create or destroy, but it also has the power to undo the damage caused by the soul burst, to mend the tear in the barrier between Nirn and oblivion. must recover it before some fool fixes that which must remain broken.
He knows of our plan to use the amulet to set things right. We must rescue Sai Sahan before he can be broken.
The unbreakable Red Guard. For all of his self-doubt, Sai Sahan has proven monstrosily difficult to break. Monstrosily. Perhaps the years of physical training he endured to his condition, his body make the tortures of the flesh pale in comparison. Likewise, threats of bodily harm to friends and acquaintances have no effect. He merely closes his eyes and promises to avenge them. Though deftly he pulled the Amulet of Kings from the fingers of Varen's withering husk amidst the chaos of the soul burst. Then he was gone, a fleeting shadow in the night. I must have it back if I'm to enact the final stage of my plan. Since that day I have played a waiting game as Malag Bal's plain meld continues unabated. For the time being, this works to my advantage, but I must find the amulet before the plane hold concludes, or my plan is doomed to failure. I would tear this continent apart stone by stone if I had to, but for now I shall be patient. Sai Sahan cannot endure these tortures forever. He will break, and the Amulet of Kings will be mine once more.
Red Guard's iron will cannot be overcome with standard interrogation techniques. Physical tortures appear to be useless. I have therefore instructed the Daedra to move Sai Sahan into the Halls of Torment. The Duchess will be most pleased to have a new guest. His flesh is strong, but perhaps her tortures of the mind will break him. I have come too far to allow this upstart sword master to thwart my plans. I will find the amulet, one way or another.
This is the information we've been looking for.
The Amulet of Kings of Glory, pendant of the Red Diamond, Shem El Adabel, alien relic of divine adventure. Whatever myth exists concerning its creation, this much is fact. As a vessel of Akatosh's will, it is tied to him in a very real way. The corruption of the Dragonfire ritual was a taxing endeavor. I spent weeks inscribing the glyphs and preparing the incantations that Clerius foolishly believed would change his ancestry and birthright. Trusting the simpleton, Nirn now lies adrift in the Mundus, vulnerable to the parasitic Daedra that feast upon the souls of its people. Tharn once asked me outright if the amulet could be used to repair the damage wrought by the soul burst. Subtlety was never part of Abner's repertoire. I could see the scheming machinations behind his eyes, even as he pledged his loyalty to me. I think he knew, even then, that he was disposable. Who needs a scheming politician when one aspires to be a god? The answer to his question, of course, is yes. This is why I must seize the amulet and protect it. It is the vessel through which I will supplant my would-be master and assume dominion over two worlds. Why would a god settle for just one?
At last, Sai Sahan has been taken to the Halls of Torment.
Do you know where that is?
Oh yes. It's Cold Harbor's most nefarious prison. The Daedra in the Halls of Torment reach deep into the dark places of a prisoner's mind and torture them with apparitions of the things they most dread.
That sounds a lot like what happened to Lyris.
It's an effective tactic. The Daedra mock our emotional attachments and the memories that form our sense of self. Daedra have no use for such things. They are immortal. It's impossible to kill Daedra. They simply reform over time.
We need to rescue Sai Sahan. Can you get us to the Halls of Torment?
Of course I can. I am Abner Tharn. But first, I have a bit more research to do. Go back to the Harbridge and tell Varen what we've discovered. I'll meet you there once I've made the necessary preparations.
Very well. I'm not going.
Derivative.
Knob.
Alright, we're finished with that. We do have to go back to Varen, which I'm not exactly sure where that is, but that mean I am done here.
Quality material makes for quality goods.
Hello.
What's this Daedric ruin doing here? What's its purpose? Oh God, is there blood coming out of my hair?
I found your note and an artifact you might be interested in.
Oh, cool, this is a very rare Daedric beard pot. Massive Dremor would wear these suspended by chains around their necks to protect their lustrous beards. Isn't it fascinating? Here's your reward.
Thank you. Onward, alright. We are officially done here. I missed 2 quests, which makes me sad. But that's okay. Alright. To Shadowfen we go. Actually, no. We're gonna go talk to, over here.
An unexpected visit. What brings you back, Vestige?
Tharn and I discovered where they're keeping Sai-Sahan.
At last! Where can he be found?
A prison in Cold Harbor called the Halls of Torment.
Well done. I will begin searching for a safe route to the Halls of Torment immediately.
Anything else?
I was going to say that a river flows and we are slaves to its current. But I am done with riddles and metaphors. I don't know what awaits us. I'm not a prophet. I'm just a foolish old man who glimpsed the wisdom of the scrolls and survived.
But you can find a path to the Halls of Torment, can't you?
When Tharn returns, we will combine our resources. We will find a path to these Halls of Torment soon enough.
Mora has his eyes on you. I can feel it.
One more book. Chronicles of Companions 4. Buckle in. I am Grand Chancellor Abnor Tharn, Overlord of Nebne, the head of the Elder Council, advisor to emperors and kings for 117 of the 164 years that I have been alive. I did not come by my position of influence through luck or nepotism, but rather through extreme discipline, ambition, and cunning. And yet here I am, conspiring with idiots and the fools in a musty hole in the ground. How the mighty have fallen. The year is 2E 582, and I am unsure of the precise date. The year is 2E 582, but I am unsure of the precise date. I've lost track, given the gravity of the monumental task that is before us. After reading the previous entries in this chronicle, I felt it necessary to offer my side of the story, so that I am not misrepresented by future historians. We Tharns have held positions of power throughout Cyrodiil since the days of the Potentate? We are prized for our loyalty to the Empire, our daft political machinations, and the ruthless subjugation or elimination of dissenters within imperial territories. What we do is grim work, but it is necessary if the Empire is to endure. Do I sound boastful or egotistical? Perhaps I am, but I shall put these words to paper, so that you, the reader, might understand my views and my actions, and their place in the long view of history. For nearly 30 years I advised the savage men of the Reach, from Durarok to Levek, as their long brutish dynasty ravaged the Empire. They lasted longer than many of the would-be conquerors that came before them, but their alien nature and low heritage made them unfit to stand in the presence of the true-blooded sons of Kolvia or Nebne. Their most grave insult came when Leovic, youngest of their line, sought the hand of my 16th daughter, Clivia, in marriage. Clivia, that is a hell of a name. That she might rule with him as empress, like his grandfather before him, who married Varaxia Tharn. Leovic hoped that our family's connection and pure-blood Nebonese bloodline would somehow legitimize his claim to the Ruby Throne. It was an exercise in futility, and it exasperated me to no end. So when Varin Achillurius, the son of the Clovian Duke and the powerful military leader of his own right, contacted me in secret and sought my assistance to dispose those foul strangers from the north, I eagerly agreed. The war was long and bloody, but armed with my knowledge of the imperial city, Varin eventually led his army of rebels to the palace gates. Varin drove his sword into Leovic's black-blooded heart and watched him die, choking on his own life-blood, at the foot of the Ruby Throne, and immediately declared to be emperor. For my loyalty and assistance, he agreed to take my daughter as his bride. After Baron's betrayal at Manamarco's hand, it paid me to hand the reins of the empire over to another outlander, but the King of Worms is a dangerous enemy. To ensure the dominance of necromancy over all other forms of magic, Manamarco immediately cast the Mages Guild out of the imperial city, and then had all the remaining dissenters arrested as enemies of the state. I do not wish for my name to appear on that very long list, which only grew shorter when the executions began, so I pledged my loyalty. In return, I was granted stewardship of the imperial city. My daughter, still the Empress Regent, became the titular ruler of the empire, but Manamarco remained the power behind the throne. Of course, Manamarco turned on me on the moment my usefulness was expended. I was marginalized and cloistered away in a tower of bones, and my daughter was turned against me, lured by Manamarco's promise to teach her the dark arts that would give her mastery over life and death. But know this, dear reader, I will take the empire back. I will restore order out of chaos. That is my only ambition and my ultimate desire. I will strike down any who stand in my way with all the fires of Daedric sorcery I can command, and those who dare to thwart me shall be damned to the pits of oblivion for all eternity. He was serious. Boy, was angry. Alright, so we're done here. But we can go back to Shadowfen. Or go to Shadowfen. So I am not done here. Oh, I have a bunch of quests down here as well. Well, I should probably do those too, huh? Alright. I'm glad I downloaded those different guides to help me figure out where I needed to go, because clearly I was lost. Okay, so I'm going to quickly wrap up this area. I don't know if I'm going to keep you guys with me or not, because I'm sure it's pretty dull, but maybe. Before we do Shadowfen.
Another chance at perfection.
Message. Meet me at the harborage. We are ready to rescue Tharn.
Oh, dude. Really? Glad I didn't run too far away. You know, I just said I was going to go do that stuff, but then, as you can see, I barely walked like a minute away, and he was like, "Come back, come back." Alright, so I'm gonna go park myself there, and I guess looking at the clock, I'll call the episode done, and we'll continue on with the main story quest from there. If it isn't clear, so there's the zone quest that we're doing, then there's the main quest we're doing, but then to even add more confusion, there's a bunch of DLCs, and since I'm I don't know what they're called, the Elder Scrolls membership, I have access to all the additional DLCs and stuff, plus the ones that I bought as well. So there's a lot going on, and I know that it gets really confusing even for myself. So I did download a while back a few guides to kind of help me like figure out where I am, but it's very, very easy to get lost and walk off the path, so to speak. So I'm trying to stay focused, but I don't know. I'm also a bit ADHD, so hey. Alright, I will see you guys in another episode. Thanks for keeping me company.